hat on, and I'm going to show you this very nice walking machine that I made in Bedrock Edition. So, Bedrock players, please don't leave straight away. Unless you're playing in survival and you have barely any resources, in which case this machine will not be easy to make for you. So, for this machine, you're going to need a lot of stuff. It's a 6-legged walking machine with a platform on top, and the obsidian blocks are just there so in case I want to clone it, I can. And I'll show you where to place those later on, once we finish the main build. I'm going to be building this in levels from the ground up, so that might help you know what we're doing. Alright, so let me show you what you need for this contraption. What you're going to need: obsidian, or something that will stop the contraption from moving. Blocks of iron. You can also use any other white blocks, or something that matches the colour of the stairs you're going to use. For example, smooth quartz. You could use that for the stairs. Slime blocks, honey blocks, observers, pistons, sticky pistons. Just a random block to build your platform on. So a random block to build your platform out of. It doesn't really matter what it is, but you can use terracotta, so you can place some honey blocks in there, so that people will never. So that it's guaranteed people will never fall off if they're standing on the honey blocks. Anyway, and what we need the other thing we need is a block of redstone, and we need quite a lot of all of these things. So don't just get one. Okay, this is a very big build. Right, to begin with, what we're going to do is we're going to go around the back, the unfinished back of the build, as everyone always never finishes the back. Right, okay, and 2 blocks like that. Leave a gap of 5 blocks wide, 2 more, and go 4 in front of that. And then go 4, and then do the same on the other side, and repeat one more time. Leave a gap of 4, and do that like so. Then that's the first layer done. Let's move on to the second layer, where we need slime blocks to go on top like so of all of these things. Now to show you which place is the front and the back, I've done this with a smooth quartz specifically. So you just want to do that, and basically this will turn into a sort of arrow pointing towards the front, so you'll be able to tell where the front is at all times, without just, you know, building the entire thing and working out where the front is, and because that's just too complicated, it'll take you too long to know where the front is. Oh yeah, and by the way, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. You want this. I've made that mistake already a couple of times. Oh no, I've done a lot of mistakes. Just make sure they all look like this. Right, now for the third layer. More slime blocks, and this time you do it like that. So you create that little arrow shape right there. It's not a perfect arrow, but it's not supposed to be. I am aware on how to make a perfect arrow with these sorts of shapes. It just doesn't quite look as good, because it doesn't align with the base. And then as you do it like so. Alright, that's number 3 done. Now we're just gonna move happily on to layer number 4. Okay, layer number 4 is a little bit more complicated, but I'll keep it simple. So what you need to do is this with all of them. On top of where the stair is, on top of the flat surface on the top, place these. Then you need to go out 2 blocks backwards and place an observer facing up. Now you just need to do this after every single one. And that's all you need for layer number 4. Now layer number 5 is more complicated than all of the other ones, because it sort of connects to the other layers in a way which makes it very difficult to build by itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the main structure of number 5, and then we're going to complete it when we're moving on to level 6 and 7. So that should be easy enough to do. It's making it more simple. So you want to get these observers, place slime blocks on top of each one, and then bridge together between the two slime blocks on top of each observer, like so. Now, what you want to do is go in front of these observers to the lower areas right here, next to this slime block here, but not above it, down here, where there's no slime block on level 4, at the front of each leg basically, and place a redstone block inside of the leg and a sticky piston on top of that same spot, and then you bridge the two together with slime. But in front of the redstone blocks. What this will do essentially is move the redstone blocks every time it moves the contraption. So these legs will then go upwards. They'll lift up as the redstone blocks get pulled across, and eventually just place these pistons on either side of this. Observers, by the way. So you have this sort of thing going on. Yeah. Eventually, the observers will come forwards with these pistons, which will push the leg forwards back into the redstone blocks again, and then they'll go back down. I haven't made a contraption like this with 2 different leg pieces yet, because I've not managed to learn that much redstone skill in this department yet. I can make flying machines, but walking machines is not really my thing at the moment. But I'm trying. So yeah, this is a one-piece leg system. And now, as you can see, if we just connect these, that is the main part of layer 5. Now we can move on to layer 6. Alright everyone, layer 6, more complicated. So I'm going to connect this with. I'm going to try and do this quickly so I don't forget it, because I barely remember it, and I just went over to the original build I made to check what it was. So you need an observer in front of the redstone block on the right hand side of the contraption at the front, facing towards the left, if that makes any sense. You should be, if you go to the right hand side, you should see the face of the observer, and it should be in front of the frontmost piston. Then place a sticky piston on in front of that observer where the face is not, and make it face backwards, and then place slime blocks between connecting this platform to that platform, except don't place a slime block on this block here. Do not place that slime block there, because we're going to connect it with another sticky piston. We're going to place the sticky piston in like so, underneath the slime blocks. I'm going to place an observer in here. Oops, so I broke it, let me just fix it. And that's to show you that you should not place anything behind the observer when you're placing it in. Because if you do that, you'll have to rebuild an entire part of the contraption. And that's something you don't want to do. Right, that's now sorted. So, let's now go and show you how to build the next piece. So behind this, you'll need something else. So what you're going to do is you're going to go and place in like this, and like this, and then one of these. And then you repeat the cycle until you reach the back. So basically, place this here, that there, and just repeat until you've reached the back of the contraption. Alright everyone, now it's time to move on to levels 7 and up. So we're going back to level 5. You just want to go to the top and to the front right and build out from this block right here, this slime block, until it goes out to the same width as the rest of the contraption on this end. So you should be in line with the quartz stairs, or the stairs of whatever kind. Now behind this, you want to place a piston facing forwards. Don't make this piston push the blocks, because then it will try and start the entire contraption, and we don't have time for that. So for rebuilding the entire build right now. So let's not do that. Right now, you build out like this. That sounds pretty simple, but that's not all we're doing. Right, now we want to go to the back, build out like so. 3 blocks from this, from the pistons, slime block, in line with these piston and observer right here. Build out so it's like a little hat on top of the observer, or like a little shade or something. And place an observer behind those slime blocks, facing towards the rest of the build. So the face will be at the back. And then pistons facing forwards as placed in there. And then you just want to place in 3 slime blocks right there, observer underneath, and then a piston. And I repeat the cycle. Until you've got 2 of them, which is just repeated once. Okay, and then we go into the front. Sorry, we go to the top, and then we go place in like honey block, and place in like so honey blocks forward a row. I'm not a poet. And then sticky pistons in front, and then your blocks. I recommend glazed terracotta, because that way you can place in some honey blocks as places for people to stand and not get pushed off. I'd also recommend placing in 10 of them. That way you can place 2 more blocks on top of honey blocks or slime blocks. I might want to place, for example, some chests in here. Now this is 10 blocks, right, so right there. So I'm going to place in a honey block here, and here, and slime blocks here and here. Now if you want to place any sort of object on top of your platform, you'll need to do it like that. You can't place honey blocks and slime blocks on different... You can't do this. No, you have to do this. If you want to place everything on all 4 rows, that's how you do it. You place in the slime blocks and honey blocks like that. Now I'm just going to place in some things right here. Barrels, I guess. That'll do nicely. And now I have some storage on my craft. So I now have a storage transporter. You can do so many different things with this. You can also just put the barrels in the floor. That works too. Yeah, but if you want to place anything sticking up, you also want to make sure that if you have a 12 block long platform, you take any blocks from this off the end. So it'll only push 12 blocks at most at one time, because it can't push more than 12 blocks per piston. Right, now activating the system. It's going to be a bit complicated because it's going to take a long time to do. Sorry, no, it's going to take a long time to get this done properly. So it took me a long time to figure it out. But what I did use is I managed to work out a way to make this to make it do the job properly. But the only thing is, if you want to board the system, you'll need some way to do it in the time it takes before this thing actually departs from its current spot, because the activation system I've come up with means that you're not going to be on it at the time. So you might want to create a little way up or something, because you need to be here to activate it. Right, so if everything works... Oh yeah, by the way, before you do set it off, you need to make sure to push all of these things forward, because otherwise it won't move. Right, okay. Now, moment of truth. Let's make sure that every sticky piston which is facing backwards, it should all be facing backwards if it's sticky pistons, make sure they all have a block right in front of them, right in front of the wood bit. But if it's a normal piston facing forwards, make sure it's got nothing on the end of it, and you can see the front face of the piston, but there's going to be a block in front of it, except for the ones right here, which I'm pretty sure is in most cases, except for the ones in front of behind the legs, in which case there's a block below in front of it, behind the sticky piston. Right, let's activate this thing. So here's the little activation system you need. Just a sticky piston, sorry, a regular piston like this, facing in towards this observer. You just need to make sure that it extends up before this observer. Sorry, as soon as this observer will notice it, it will start moving the contraption, and you just need to make sure that you turn off the lever before this contraption. Sorry, before this observer gets to the piston. So let's try it. There we go. It's moving. And you can see it's not the slowest machine in the world, it's not the fastest either, but it works, look. And we've got a bunch of barrels on it too. Can I make give you a piece of advice before I sign this video off? Don't place TNT cannons, because TNT cannons on this contraption never really work properly. I've tried it many times. Believe me. All those in the background, I tried TNT cannons on the moving ones. It blew up, and I blew them up. Water leaked across the entire contraption, which didn't destroy it, but made it basically impossible to use properly, because the water does actually sometimes stop the contraption from moving for some reason. Also, when the TNT does fire, you're probably moving right into the path of the fire anyway. So if you're going to do anything with TNT, have this as your capital ship and then put all the gunships on either side. I don't know. Just don't put TNT on this. And also try and put it on flat ground. Obviously you can put it in the sky, but it can't go up or down, so try and make like a flat pathway to move this on if you're going towards the enemy's base, or whatever you're going to do with this thing. I don't know. It's kind of based off the AT-TE from Star Wars, but I didn't really focus on making it look like one. Anyway, enough rambling. I'm going to sign this video off now. Thank you very much for watching. I've been the Iron Llama, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.